Well, hello every hello everybody. Thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the time to wait for me. Uh, I was a bit delayed because, well, our family cat is getting rather old, and look at her eyes; they're very glassy. I think she's gone senile. She's just shouting, and even though she keeps eating like 4 bowls of food per day, she just keeps shouting like a maniac and won't shut up unless we kiss and cuddle her. Oh, yeah. I hope everybody is doing all right. And I hope this retard makes everything worth waiting for. How are you, everybody? I hope you all had a nice new year. Hi, beautiful kitten. Yes, yes. He's back from the shadow realm. Well, this one is. She has cataracts. Yes, this cat is has been with our extended family for almost 70 years, 17 years. Huh? Huh. Losing her mind slowly, but yeah. Yavru. Oh. Hmm. All right, let's get cracking. Thanks for waiting for me. All right. How did you all spend New Year's, everybody? People said, Polyps Conglomeration says, this is my first time catching you live. Caden Slinker says this should be interesting. Worldwide Hope says he's late. Damn, look at those eyes. Yes. And wow, such video quality. Is that ironic and is the video quality shit or I don't know. I don't know. Yes. All right. So let's wait for one more minute for everybody to get in. I'll make myself some tea. I actually had a very tiring day, but I missed you all so much. So, I decided to let one go and have a stream right off the cuff like that. Why don't you tell me how you entered New Year's? And I'll now grab my coffee and we'll get this show on the road. We got 15 people waiting. That's a great number. I hope you're all having a great day wherever you are. So let me know, what did you do for New Year's? New Year, New Year, New Year. Tell me your holidays. How did you spend them? Did you travel? Was there any family drama? We'll be right back. Mm. Bak ne yaptı? Yes. All right, it's a great night. Sounds like a magic portal opening in the background. Well, yeah, it was the kettle after all. Now we are officially live. It's been 6 minutes, and thanks for everyone. Thanks to everyone for coming here. Kojira says hello there. Hello, Kojira. He's a Turkish paleo YouTuber with a very big following, and I was just lucky enough to join his channel for an interview. New Year for me was nothing special, says Worldwide Hope. I spent it in my room. I learned that my cousins got this lovely cat, got myself a Garfield plushie, and that was it. That's so existential. Also, it's very interesting. From this, I'm guessing you must be American, because many other places in the world, they family will not let you spend time in your room. They're gregarious and social, and there are places you must be and things you must do. Well, cheers, everybody. Mikin says, for Christmas I was with my family, and for New Year's Eve I invited my friend out to our house. We watched silly Harry Potter parodies and drank cocoa. Sounds like a great time. I had a big extended family gathering, and it was nice. Polyps Conglomeration says, I hung out with my girlfriend. Nice. Well, if you start New Year that way, I'm sure it will be a great year. Cauliflower, friend from Turkey, says he met a close friend from primary school. They hung out together. Nice. Cat has a raspy meow. Yes, yes. Worldwide Hope is Turkish. Okay. Well, in that case, you're very, very lucky because, like, especially here, like, no chance, snowball's chance in hell, they won't let you stay alone. I don't know. So you got cool parents, is all I'm saying. They let you be. All right. Where's everybody hailing from? 20 people in the room. Have a great 2024, everybody. I grew my hair. I might give this a haircut. It's getting out of control. Polyps Conglomeration says, I'm American, but I would love to visit Turkey one day. Well, maybe you come first, maybe I come first. Who knows who comes first? Yeah. Psst, psst, psst. Yeah. Now, Ix Jack Films spent the New Year's reading this manga about that scary lady, the Kuchisake Ana. So in this manga that our friend was reading, there's a girl with a scary slit mouth, and she walks around at night asking everybody, do you want to know what happened to my face or something? Oh, she says, do you want to see my face? If you say yes, she shows you her face, and it's a big, like, opening slit mouth like that of a lizard, and she kills you. If you say no, well, you don't get away that easy either, because she just gets jealous and kills you too. Papovus says, I'm from Istanbul, living in Virginia. Wow, nice. Nice. Well, yeah, speaking of the Kuchisuke Onna, look, I've been having fan Q&A videos the last month, and a persistent request after those videos was by some of you to give me dating advice. So I tentatively titled this stream the dating advice stream. So like if you got questions along those like lengths, just let me know. Hope says, remember to work on yourself before you search for a partner. If you're unhappy, they're unhappy. Very correct. This is not just for dating. It's also like for life in general. Even if you plan to be alone the rest of your life, if you're not happy with your life, you'll drag that unhappiness everywhere you go. And some elementary level questions are already coming in. KO Urboy says, how do I talk to women? Us men are simple creatures. Yeah, what's the gender ratio here? Must be like maybe 2 ladies watching. So look, these are very simple questions. Akshack Film says, we are simple creatures, us men. Women, on the other hand, are scary. Are they? I don't know. I mean, you're only scared because you want to get something from them. And if you can't get them, you're scared. But if you don't want to get that thing and just treat them like human beings, you won't be scared and you won't need to be scared. And plus, like, I don't know, maybe women scare guys on a sort of instinctive level or like self-confidence level. But I mean, men scare women with a lot of darker ways too. I mean, usually men get to kill and rape and like do other stuff, you know? So yeah. Cadence Thinker says Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. Yeah, it's probably a reference to that song. They Might Be Giant song. Istanbul, not Constantinople. Look, I don't know if you ask any more detailed dating questions, I'll answer them. But long story short, treat each other like human beings, and just be yourself. You don't need to do any riz or like you don't need to do anything special. Be caring. That's all. Gaps. Where's everybody from? Let's do our roll call. 27 people in the house. I want you to consider getting me, buy me a coffee too. The link is in the description. Like, even if you buy me 1 cup of coffee, it really makes things easier for me. And in this year, you know, things are hard. KO Urboy is from South Africa. Nice. They just released Oscar Pistorius down there, did they not? The famous Paralympic accidental murderer. I'll be right back. Cadence Slinker is from USA. Everybody, let's do the roll call, and I'll be right back. All 24 of us. And please let me know. Please let your friends know too. Like if there's any people you want to impress, this is the dating stream. Why don't you tell them there's a weird guy with a cute cat? Just watch that. So we get more buddies in this room. All right. Ne oldu? Anne. Gel. Ha. Gel. Gel Allah'ın cezası. Neydi? Geldi anneannem. Geldi. Anneannem geldi. Anneannem. Nerede anneannem? Islak mama yiyecekmiş anneannem. Islak maması varmış anneannem. Hepsini yiyecek anneannem. Oh anneannem yiyor. Hepsini yiyor. Takkesini de taktım. Fosforlu yeşil anneannem. Hepsini yiyor anneannem. Ben de yiyeyim ver. Ben de yiyorum. Çok güzelmiş anneannem. Anneannem çok güzelmiş anneannem. Hepsini yedi anneannem. Bak anneannem. 17 yaşında anneannem. Her şey yiyor anneannem. Çok acıkmış. Ay, elini verdi anneannem. Hadi döndür. Turn. Heh. Turn and eat. Slurpy, slurpy. Damn, girl. I didn't have pussy go down on me since... Oh. Damn, you're eating better food than I am. Ah. Anneannem. Pislik olmuş anneannem. Bok. Bok olmuş anneannem. Anneannem hepsini yiyor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, why not why not start off the new year with a healthy dose of life-changing toxoplasmosis? Mm. I'm new to the stream. Does this always happen? Well, something always happens in the streams. This just happened to be that. Look at the eyes on this goddamn thing. All right. Yeah. All right. Everybody's from... Worldwide Hope is from Istanbul, Anatolian side. Well, hello to you from the other side. Pat Bing So is from America, based. Mikin is from the Czechoslovak Commonwealth. That's based. Polyps Conglomeration is born and raised in Texas. Lovely state. Huge state. Lots of... There's a typical typecasting of Texas as like a cowboy land, but there's actually much more. And there's some conversation about there being 2 times more guns than people in Texas, but okay. Alo says, as a female, I take pride in being scary. I don't want to date. I only want to listen to Aegean myths. All right. I like your comment so much, it's pinned. All right, let's go. Cauliflower says he's from Kocaeli, Turkey, but some long-distance ancestry from his mother's side in Georgia. That's the Kafka state, not the US state. Gavin Tidwell is from USA, Florida. Kangaroos and jerboas. Let's check some messages on the other side. Fernando Catecaix asks, do you think mammals can evolve similar body plans to theropods? Maybe not. I don't know. The whole heel of the leg works differently, and also the whole hip arrangement. So a theropod hip has a theropod hip has like a square pelvis, and the bones that fit in there come up and just like go click. So it can go like back and forth articulations really well, like a bird. It can do tick, tick, tick, tick. But the heads of the femurs are kind of like bent. Oh no, what the fuck? This does the rain effect. Okay, the heads of the femurs are kind of bent, so it kind of has limited sideways mobility, or like it can't like splay open as much as some mammals can. So plus there's also something going on with a dinosaur heels. So a mammal heel has this back thing coming out, and then there's the Achilles tendon pulling the whole thing. Now in birds and theropods, the articulation is like straight one-on-one, and actually there's no heel to speak of, but the whole thing is actually pulled by muscles in the calf, which is the drumstick. So it's kind of different that way. That's why when mammals are evolved bipedality, it's either like in that weird way like humans, or like kangaroos. They're kind of like more like splayed out or like erect and stuff. And as far as we know from theropods, they're more like structured and a little bit more rigid, you know. So that's why 36 people in the house. Oh my god. Worldwide Hope is from Erzurum based. I really want to visit there someday. Blake Richardson is from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, America. That's nice. There must be lots of abundant factories for you guys to explore there, and I really envy you. If I lived there, I would be probably dropping a new urban exploration video every week. All right. What's your favorite alcohol brand? Says Axjag Films. I don't know. I mean, I like. So when it's very hot, I like drinking Guinness beer, which is like very stout and thick bodied. Not much of a. So I'm not much of a vodka fan. I'm not much of a West fan. Neither am I a huge fan of the rakı, which is the aniseed based drink popular in Turkey. I do like the Greek ouzo within moderation. I like red wine with meals sometimes. I'm really curious more to have more of actually I, sake and what was that other Korean thing? Shoju. I mean, I could drink those in a festive mood, but I'm not really a big social drinker because I have no inhibitions to lose. Bat Pirate says sake, good choice. Donkey Kong says for alcohol, I eat fermented plums from the forest floor. That's great. That's great. KO Boy says, have you heard of Megaraptora? Yes, I've even made illustrations of them. They're these like southern hemisphere predatory theropods with like long claws that they obviously use them for something, but we just don't know. I kind of suspect some of those animals had small heads and they were like a bit like gimpy or maybe even herbivorous things, but that's just my hunch. Thoughts on California, says Pat Bingzo. Well, I don't know. The big cities must be hard to live in. It's very bad what happened to those states, huh? I mean, it's still a lovely place, but you can't really survive unless you have a car there. I have driven across half of California, by the way. I drove from North California all the way to San Francisco. It's a huge state. It's difficult to generalize. But for most people around the world, if you're not from the States, California now invokes images of homeless people, addicts, and like crime. Whereas until like 5 years ago or something, California meant Hollywood. It was the Americaist place of America to go. But funny how things change like that. Alo says, if you were not CM Kozeman, would you rather be a duck or a rat? Probably. Probably I would be a duck because at least I would like to fly. Rats are very socially articulate and gregarious too, but I mean, given the choice between a duck, which can fly, I would rather choose the flying organism. KS says, oh, yeah, I caught one of your live streams. Well, dear KS, great to see you here. Let your friends know where you are, what you are watching, and let's get some more people in this room. Fernando Katekaik says, do animals have favorite foods? Obviously, like even this goddamn cat, she's become like an addict to wet food and doesn't touch her dry food anymore. I'm sure animals have favorite foods. In nature, maybe they're like constrained by necessity and they eat everything they can find. But even when things are a little good, even when there's a slight opportunity, animals always choose. My hermit crabs will only eat strawberries, says. Interesting. Never kept them, but how do you keep those hermit crabs? Curious to learn more. Polyps conglomeration says Austin was my home city in Texas, and it used to be full of homeless people back in 2019 22. And then what happened? And I guess it was COVID had something to do with that. Popular says California is horrible. You need a car to get through LA. Yes, Los Angeles. Don't get me started. Some of my online friends live there, but like I don't know. It's not a part of the states I would like to live in. Luca Ricci asks, Mr. Kozaman, how do you go around designing chimeral creatures from mythology in realistic style? How do you tackle features like multiple heads or tails? Okay, let me show you. Wait. Wait. Okay, we got our sketch pad here. So look, if you want to draw something like a KS says you are high key for a DILF. Oh, I'm blushing. I'm very, I don't know. Looking fresh. Are you accepting questions? Yes, I am, but I'm now going to show people how to draw chimeral creatures realistically. Okay, so this is our paper, okay? Imagine you want to draw a creature with two heads. So normally somebody would go around like a body, some things, and like two heads, okay? Something like this, all right? But you know that's like a cartoon effect. Because if you're looking at something with a real head, usually people draw a circle, but the circle is only the thing. There's also the neck. And if you want to have a head, you also need a, like, I'll show you. Look, if you have a head, okay, you also need a neck to hold that up. And if this is a two-headed creature, maybe there's some symmetry involved with the backbones and stuff. So there's another head like here, and something like this. And you have to have like two sets of neck muscles supporting each other. So you get a start of, like, you get something like something with two huge limbs carrying these heads. Heads are also like quite heavy, you know? So let me just draw these. So you have to realize, basically the short answer to your question is, you have to realize that all body parts are connected to other body parts, and you have to draw them working together, creating a sort of more consistent organism. So like this is a cartoon form of a two-headed beast. If you want to draw something more realistic, maybe consider how the muscles work and the body works and like mass works basically. And the only way to really practice for this is like go to a zoo or watch a documentary or and draw real things. You get a sense of how like bodies and masses and muscles work. So yeah. Mm. Donkey Max says the Book of Avon, which is one of the fictional books in the Lovecraft mythos. Popular says the homeless people aren't terrible. Of course not. Of course not. In the States, it's frightening how many of those people used to have jobs and like proper families, and like some of them are actually extremely qualified before things took a wrong turn, and it could happen to anybody. And I think, like, I mean, I will not deny that the increase of homeless people is a like malady affecting American cities, but also it's also popularizing that is the media's way of showing to Americans that the floor is lava, you know, and you better up your game. You better keep struggling, keep hustling, keep working, stay in your place in order to avoid being like them, which is, I think, a really dark way to go. Al Mosmeh says some very nice points. Like the people you see with like heroin needles in their arms on the sidewalk, they're the last stages of homelessness. I mean, people, that's like the bottom of a very like long and sad story. And look, I am not communist, but in this day and age, I think if the United States wants to stay relevant, they really need to do state subsidized housing. If they don't want to be like all communistic, okay, maybe create some, I don't know, general domestics companies and like have a private company do them. But everybody needs a roof over their heads. Everybody needs a roof over their heads. And it's a shame that housing is so expensive, especially when the population is kind of plateauing. I mean, people could buy houses more easily when everybody had like 5 kids, you know? Now nobody's having kids, and yet nobody also can't afford to have any houses. And like, I think for profit ownership of homes by companies must not be allowed. I mean, people should be able to own houses and multiple houses, yeah, but no. When companies buy up neighborhoods, you can't really fight them. It's like a gigantic organism versus a single individual. They come and buy your entire neighborhood, you're priced out. 5 years later, they're like all these hipster burger places and the rent's through the roof. God damn. I mean, even if you are like a Republican, you want a stronger America, this is what you must fight for now. Okay? In 50 years, when the like, so you see, there never is a correct regime or a correct ideology. People are really stinky and evil like that. If you give companies a lot of power, after a few generations, then all these like evil people who like exist as a baseline within any society, they percolate into companies and NGOs. If the government is like a communist country, then all these people percolate into the government in 2 generations. So the best regime is the next regime. And don't forget, regimes, ideologies, they're just tools. They're just fucking artifacts. What matters is you. What matters is the optimism, safety, health of people. And even from a pragmatic way, you need this so your country is stronger. And yeah, Valentin Degan says, heck of commies. Probably, maybe, are you a descendant of people who emigrated from Warsaw Pact countries? Because, like, I mean, ideologies and the present promises given by communism or low key socialism aside, people really struggled with those communist regimes until the 1990s in Eastern Europe and Russia. Landlords are invasive species. Yes. Yes, true. Maybe not individual mom and pop landlords, but like, I mean, although they're kind of assholes too, okay? But the real trouble is the like, I don't know, companies with names like Valley Incorporated with like these nondescript names. They come in, they push drugs into a neighborhood, or like they use their mafia connections to do that. Then they buy the whole neighborhood up cheap, price it up, build it up, spin them. It's just evil, just evil. Donkey Kong Max says communism and capitalism are failing. Yes, I don't think they're even relevant anymore. I mean, it's another dichotomy you have in these days. You kind of see the shapes, the sides aligning, and neither side looks totally great. Whoa, lots of comments. Okay. Polyps Conglomeration says, I'm an independent and just want the US to be prosperous. Yes, I wish I could live in the US and contribute to American prosperity. Mikin says, where I live, there's a theater that specializes in working with homeless people and former prisoners. It's always so interesting to hear their life stories. Yes, after doing a show, these people always glow. So, I mean, yeah, if you don't listen to people, if you ignore them, they turn hostile against you. And if you listen to them, it's a it's a kind of hierarchy of needs. Oh, L Molsme says, would you ever do van life? Yeah, I fucking could. It's interesting how nomadic life is being normalized these days, isn't it? Only in the US though, or maybe parts of Australia and Canada, but nowhere else. Like you can't really do van life in Italy or Turkey because A, cars and gas, they're fucking expensive. It's a luxury. Like the people I know in Turkey who want to do, we're kind of having a van life adventure. And like these are the people who already have their homes, they have their nice jobs, they got caretakers for their babies. So, that's not the same life in as you have in the United States with people like getting gym memberships so that they could only shower and like living in their car, applying for works, driving around. That's a whole other life story. Now, I would totally do this van life, yes. One thing I have learned from watching hours of van life videos during COVID is a warning: don't do it with a partner or a lover or a husband or a wife. You can have like two cars and like go like as a fleet together, that's cool. But every van life I have watched with two people in one car, sometimes they even bring like fucking cats or dogs along. Every such story on social media has ended with like separation or divorce, or like you're not just meant to. In this day and age, most people just can't get along that way. But I would love to. I like these Japanese van life videos where these like this one guy. There's no voiceover. There's not even subtext or subtitles. It's just one guy. He heats his noodles, eats his noodles, looks at the thermometer. It says like minus 30 degrees out there. Fuck. I'm thinking of how I would do van life. I probably have one sedan car, Let me draw my magic van life car, okay? So this is the car. Mm, this is the dashboard. This is the wheel. This is the like driver's seat. Okay. So that's where I sit. I would have a long bed here, like so. So I could just like move out and go here and like sleep, you know. And then the rest of the luggage compartment and what remains of the back seat would be full of stuff. And that's that. As a guy, I would just pee on the side of the road or poop in bags. I don't want to deal with toilets or showers. So, yeah. But I would like to do this van life thing in a kind of like suburban American setting, maybe. Drive from town to town. Papa was a rolling stone. You have to do that when you're young. Worldwide Hope says American society as we know it is crumbling before our eyes. Yes, millennials are so burnt out they cannot take care of their children. Zoomers are getting more mentally fatigued. Yes, it's awful. Look, I won't give any names, but in the last 3 or 4 years, I know two people younger than myself who took their own lives. I know many other suicide attempts. It's just awful. And these are not just like suicide attempts. I'm sad, I'll take a sleeping pill. No, they're serious stuff, serious stuff. Something's gotta give. I got that feeling whenever. I'm a Zoomer and I'm sorry for my kin. I do not want anything to do with them. Yeah, I don't know. It's really sad how many young people are isolated. I'll just say that much. At least we have iPhone 8. Yeah, yeah. Although I think I owe a lot of my sanity to not using iPhones because you can't be on all the time. Your mind cannot be on all the time. You need to concentrate. Those things just destroy your ability to concentrate. Donkey Kong Max says, arguably, American society has always been bad and everybody's just now noticing. Ah, I don't know. I think until the 1970s, it was actually quite okay. But then during the 1970s, there were lots of economic reforms, let's say, aimed at destroying, like, they basically shot themselves in their own foot. They used to make everything in the US, but now that after 1970s, they started exporting a lot of jobs. And then, oh, but yeah, I mean, obviously, Elmosme is referring to slavery, and obviously that's an awful, like, it's right up there with the Holocaust as far as I'm concerned. It's one of the most inhumane, cruel, and bizarre things to do. Like, so you take people from one end of the world and you bring them to another end of the world. You buy and sell them like property. And yeah, I mean, they say, hey, they were good, taking well care of. You break up families, you break up cohesion, you raise generations without hope, or it's like, I mean, it's like an, it's really bad. I don't even want to compare it to fiction because it's a really dark part of history. And if any other regime had done it, it would be like in all Hollywood films, but Pat Ming Zo says the fate of Jewish capitalism. I don't know. You're talking to an ethnic Jew yourself. I don't think it's the. I mean, I'll entertain your racist rant, but the real problem comes from scalable technologies in communication and corporate structuring. You have these entities called companies, and they can accumulate wealth for much longer than human beings live. So you have got like the scale tipping their way already. Then you got telecommunications, you got modern logistics network, modern machine production. Put all those things together, it's very difficult not to have a result like this. Dajun Yar says, every time I hear about Turkey, I think of you. So nice. How do you think a modern equivalent to the Carrington event would affect society if it happened today? Let me look it up. Oh, it's a solar geomagnetic storm. I need to read more about this, but in my wettest, wildest dreams, it's something it would just blank out every computer and smart device, and it would be kind of disastrous. But afterwards, oh, everybody would sleep so well. Those people that survive, anyways. All power and electricity just no, no, no. If power goes, we're fucked. Like, imagine this tea. Where was it made? How was it shipped to me? How did the factory pay its workers? Come on, no. I only want mobile devices and computers to fry. Let's check some messages. If you want a scenario in which all technology goes out, read Dies the Fire by S.M. Sterling. That's S.M. Sterling, Stirling. S.M. Sterling's Dies the Fire series, something like that really happens. Like the laws of physics change, and all of a sudden, engines don't work, electricity doesn't work, gunpowder doesn't work. So it's like the first part of the first trilogy is just a bloodbath and like pure survival horror. And then they like restructure, and then there's some like weird medieval level wars going on. But then weird things happen. So like a physicist survives, and by experiments he can at least manufacture something like a refrigerator, but you need to hand crank it. So like refrigerator technology works, but the engines that drive them with electricity don't work. It's nice. Hello, everybody says Agnus Dei. Our company is a sort of collective criminal cryptid entity. I think in the present day and age, you need companies to do certain things like shipping and maybe things like mining and like or the manufacture of complex things. Like you need to pool. Like, company is a technology, basically. It's a social technology with contracts and shit. You pool resources and you guarantee your stake in them. Okay, that's what companies are, basically. And The problem comes with the contemporary sort of growth based company that, so people no longer want to have like a company that can build the best ships, or a company that mines this metal, or a company that operates the shipping. People want companies to have a bottom line, and they always want that bottom line to go up, up, up. So at one point, it has become, in the last 10 years or maybe more, it has become a kind of postmodern thing where people are just chasing numbers on paper. And the real work really doesn't mesh with the office side of the work, you know? Obviously, you still have like companies doing a lot of real life stuff, but this relentless pursuit of only profit, it must be like corrected with like some very strong and unbreakable guidelines for social continuity and like the welfare of society in general. You need to make a library tour if you haven't already, says KS. I'm not in my own house now. I'm in my parents' house. There's a big library here too, but not much of it's mine. Cauliflower says we need to get back to our hunter-gatherer roots, the good old times. Maybe not. I don't know. Remember that in hunter-gatherer societies, a lot of men died early deaths in war and violence. I'd rather go back to like, hmm, 1960s level existence, where the development just stops before they invent computers. The Roman Empire, no, thanks. Renaissance era tech, I don't know. The summer of 69, yeah. I'm not a big fan of the whole hippie clothing, though. Like, it was for one generation. Valentin Dejan says, bro, you need a company to not be just solely responsible for your own work. I know, I want to be responsible for my own work. I don't want anybody else. I mean, look, these statements are very difficult to make, but you see it when you look at countries like Iran, where many people who would other, like, if they lived in the UK or France or Italy, they would be maybe working with the government or working in some like corporate environment. But because of sanctions mostly, there are much more small business owners per capita in places like Iran than compared to the United States. And being a small business owner is difficult too, but you at least don't go to work working for somebody else every morning. Gavin Tidwell says, do you think that the craze over telephones causing short attention spans is awful? Or is it a bugbear like early 20th century fear of television or something? No, I think they're a genuine hazard. Like, it's been proven they cause mental disorders, mostly among women. They cause body image problems. It's a system that's always on, but your mind needs some downtime. I mean, if maybe legally in every country, smartphone service shut off after 12 or after like 5 p.m., like, it would be healthier. But then again, in due time, this chaos will settle. People will develop new rules of etiquette and new rules of using these things and also new narrative forms. But I think something will be lost. Yeah, exactly like that movie Ready Player One, Mikin. Çağlar Odabaş says, we need a leader who, at the push of a button, will massacre millions instead of chasing after non existent primal dreams. And that leader, he says, is you. No, I wouldn't want to genocide nobody. I just push another button that makes half of everybody sterile randomly. So, like Thanos, but you can't have kids. We'll see you in a few centuries. You don't need to kill people. You can just lower birth rates, and that's it. You guys are really loving me. Has anyone ever called you God? Maybe in bed. Cauliflower says, overpopulation is the biggest problem of humanity right now. It is certainly a great problem. And I really don't get it when like people like Elon Musk and says, no, Pete, the earth can also sustain 20 billion more people. But like, yeah, go live in their cities then. KS says, he's not a god, but he's a daddy. Yes. Whoever you are, KS, I really like you tonight. Thank you. Daddy Cosman. I have no desire to take over the world, by the way. I just want to live in a hale way. I want to sleep comfortably. I just want to be happy. Can you imagine being the person that gets double sterile? Maybe, I don't know. How do you get double sterile? Like you already get. Dajunyar says, "I listen. I think you shouldn't give kids iPhones and iPads. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that whole generation alpha shit. Apparently, as they grow, they turn more violent too. Like when you take their tablets away and the baby shark stops playing, they like straight up punch you and stuff, and they're like very violent. It's scary. It is an addiction. It's a dopamine addiction. Worldwide Hope says, I went to this one sale at Kadıköy with my friend just to see your artworks. Well, why don't you find me on other social media? Let me know. Meet me in person. Buy me a coffee and I'll make you drawings. How about that? There was also a giant photo of Bjork. I'm glad you passed on that. I think Bjork is overrated. Çağlar Odabaş says, will you ever come to Antalya in this year? I might. I want to go to a lot of places. I want to visit Eskişehir again. I want to visit Ankara. I really want to take a trip to Ionopolis, which in this day, so it was an antique center in the Black Sea coast. It used to be the host of the Glycon cult in Roman days. And the leader of the cult changed its name from something to Ionopolis. Inebolu up in Black Sea. I want to go there. Pat Bingzo says, what kind of music do you listen to? I was just on Deftones Bender the other day. Goodbye. Na na na. La la la. We got 30 people in the house in 1 hour. By the way, I will not tolerate any sort of racism or anti Semitism or anti any group of people comments. So watch out. What do you think about those primitive technology videos? Those videos that they're set in India and there's like two guys in a jungle and it's set filmed in an almost isometric angle. So they like they like dig around and suddenly like in half an hour build a underground palace or some shit. I don't like those. I think they're fake. And I think they're the same fakers who make those disgusting like fish in the mud videos where they have all these like weird fish heads eating frogs and all these animals are killed and tortured. It's horrible. So I don't know. I think those videos should be like persecuted with maximum prejudice. Elmo's Mess says, does music inspire you much? It actually does. Like sometimes when I'm painting or drawing and a good song comes up, then the drawing feels like playing an instrument and it just takes me to another dimension. The Junior says, I want to live like a caveman and a person from the far future at the same time. Well, what's stopping you? Do it. Jean Sumisu says, I can't stand those animal versus animal videos. Yeah, I mean, not only should they be banned, the people who make them should be like pitted in a battle royale. Like they should be chained to each other on the face and let to starve, and then they should be forced to eat each other's fucking faces. Caden Slinker says, Code Lyoko. What does that mean? Oh, it's a nice sci fi series. Yeah, one of the many animated series I need to watch to keep up with you. Valentine Dejan says, are you doing live drawing? Well, I might. İyi geceler. It's my dad going to bed. I'll need to go to bed soon too. I'm very tired. I have actually spent all this day setting up an art exhibit, which is opening tomorrow in Istanbul. And if you follow my socials, you can learn more about it. Come visit me if you want. Ah. It's 3 p.m. over here in Texas. Well, enjoy the rest of the day. It must be nice. Matthias Garay says, I am on the autistic spectrum. What advice can you give me for dating? Billy Harrington says, hello. I did watch Serial Experiments Lane. It's a great show. My cat is very angry at something. KS says, autistic nerds are so hot, and I'm not joking. I think I have an idea of who you are, but okay. I mean, look, it's a perspective I cannot understand. I can maybe get glimpses of it, but if it is possible, I'm not going to give you advice to be more social or more outgoing, but when you do speak to people, address them and don't talk just about yourself. Try to do that. Oh, I don't know who KS is and they don't want me knowing. Okay, okay. And I mean, you may be lucky. I mean, among some people, some people like the idea of like teasing a shy person and like kind of like teasing them out of their hole and stuff. So you might be lucky if you run into one of those types, but don't let them break your heart. Wow, it's really popping today. A party of 33 people. Anyone joining in after halftime, let me know where you're from. Oh, many comments. Elmos is from Kansas. Billy Harrington is from Poland. Çağlar Odabaş is from Antalya, Turkey. If I come to Antalya, let's hang around in Kaleiçi. Dan McAleer is from Scotland, based. Benny is from Germany, based. Valentin Dejan thought the cat was a baby in the background. Oh no. Cat is just sleeping. Well, one of these days, everybody, the cat will pass away, I think. I'm very sad to report. She's doing all right, but she's not being in the best health. Can you draw Thrones the Angel, please? Says, I don't know. Elmo says, what do you think about German tourists in Turkey? They're far better behaved than tourists in Turkey from Russia, Ukraine, or don't even get me started about tourists from the Gulf countries. Dajun Yar says, have you activated your super chats? No, because that would mean monetizing my channel. And I this channel is not monetized. But I do take your money if you're charitable on Patreon or buy me a coffee. I think you don't really need to like monetize the channel before you have 100,000 subscribers. Somebody sending me smiley faces. All right, back. Somebody's sending a lot of emojis and parties and 100s. Cauliflower asks, why do you ask people where they're from? It's a nice conversation starter. Plus, it feels good knowing I got watchers from all over the world. What kind of crabs live in Turkey? A lot, actually. We have forest floor crabs, blue swimming crabs. If you go to the southern part of the country, like the Mediterranean shores, there's a lot of weird crabs. There's a giant sort of marine crab called the pavurya, and sometimes it's like really this big. Did you have a hair transplant? No, this is all real, man. All real. If I need a hair transplant, I'll just get a short haircut like Jason Statham. Fortunately, I've got a nicely shaped skull under these curls. So yeah, God has graced me with a nice skull, a nice jawline. A Turkish man without a hair transplant. Wild. First time for everything. What's the most interesting creature in the world? Many. I like flies. Flies are amazing. Popular says, "What shape is your skull?" It's like a racial skull kind of things. It's elongated, like it goes up, but it also goes back like a pterodactyl. Matthias Garay says, "Mammals or birds?" Birds. Polyps conglomeration says, "I have blonde hair, awful jawline." Look, I'll be real with you. If you're a man, okay, if you're a guy, iyi geceler. If you're a guy, your looks are only like a minor part of the equation. In fact, there are these guys who like look amazingly hot, like gods. And once you get to meet them, they're just so bland, they can't even put two sentences together. Now, guys like that get a certain type of woman or man, I mean, depending on their sexuality. But um, actually, the measure of a man is how caring he is, how giving he is, and how protective he can be. And you need time. Like, you don't get these skills in your 20s or not maybe even your 30s. When you get them, though, you get them. And so until you have that sort of power, try being considerate and nice, and I don't know. Eh. If you kept your anneannem bağırıyor. Bağırmış anneanne. Bok yedi anneanne. Yok. She wants another cat food feast with me, but no. Although, and at this young age, at this old age, I think they should just let this cat turn obese. A lot of conversation. Phrenology, my favorite pseudoscience. Yeah. Dajunyar says, if you kept your face hidden from the internet, how would you make your face reveal? I don't know. I put my face online at a pretty young age, and I like being seen. But if you noticed, I'm not very open about my personal life, and I don't think I will ever be. I know. I really enjoyed Trade the Explainer's face reveal last week, though. And for posterity, we are recording in the first week of 2024. My good friend, Trade the Explainer, just celebrated 1 million subscribers with a face reveal, and he turned out to be like a really charming, almost. I thought he was part Native American. Really charming guy. I hope everything goes well. Wow, he's a celebrity. Everything will go well for him. He's also very beautiful. I'll tell you that too. Caden Slinker. Oh, we got all sorts of questions. Caden Slinker says, advice for an autistic kid trying to work up the courage to ask a girl out on a date. Just ask. Maybe you'll get rejected, but that's okay. That's okay. You see, I'll man up, okay? That's the measure of manhood. Another measure of manhood. Also, maybe it also applies to women too. A lot of people are too afraid to get their hearts broken these days. But I'll tell you what, you try, you attack. Go, go, go. If there's not the chance that they will break your heart is actually not that high. And even if they do, attack again, commit again. Don't be a recluse. Because actually, the thing you're afraid of is life, living. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. Attack, attack, attack. Don't, of course, be pushy, but be nice and ask her out. If she refuses you, what could happen? Like, you'll feel bad about yourself. Okay, I got you. Come here next week and like we'll talk about it on stream. Don't try to impress or resort just like, hey, you're very nice. Yeah, you want to go somewhere? Look, here we have a lady in the audience, a rarity. Alo says, Cadence Slinker, just tell the girl something she never heard before. If she's cool, she will ask you out. Yes. See? Polyps conglomeration has to go. Yes. And uh, I did get your book treatment. It looks great. Best of luck on that. We got more dating questions all of a sudden. Daddy Cosman, do you think I'm too young to get married to my girlfriend of 4 years? We are 23, says Connor Munro Flanagan. Try living together before marrying. Go on a holiday together if you can afford it. It doesn't need to be a fancy holiday. Just go somewhere together where you like you don't have family or friends around them and see how you all behave. Also try living together at least for a year before. 23, I don't know. It's for today's standard it's young, but it's pretty actually old compared to older days. So like my main question would not be the age, but whether you spent time together really knowing each other. Also maybe like try to be financially stable before. Like maybe you are, which in that case it's great, but like can you cover all your expenses? Because like it's not going to magically fix itself when you marry. Oh, we got lots of more questions. Mikin says tips on alone and together time and balance in a long time relationship. Mhm. Okay, so I think one of the main thresholds of any relationship for anyone is not being with another person, but if those people have another family house to go to after your dates. I know a lot of people, man, woman, mostly women, they're all fancy. They think that's them, but actually they have a home to go to where mommy and daddy pay the rent, they got a room and shit. Then they build up their characters this way. This applies to men as well as women. It's actually more nagging and indelible and like kind of persistent with men. But anyways, so you get this, you build this character for years, but actually it's supported secretly by living with your parents. Then you suddenly meet someone and move out with them, and then you see the whole that character you built, that persona, doesn't really work in real life. So your partner is going to have to bear the brunt of your entire collapse and restructuring. I'm saying is like live on your own before. It's actually my experience. A broken heart will accumulate odd and fantastic kinks you never thought of trying before. Yes. Yes, so very true. Mm, mm, mm, mm, mm, mm. Polyps Congramation says, my girlfriend was the one to ask me out. Great. Any advice on starting conversations? There's a guy I know, I have an irrational urge to talk. Maybe go into a similar social kind of status with him. I mean, not a status, like an event, I don't know, a concert. I don't know what activities you have going, but yeah. If he's a guy and you're a guy too, or you're a girl, I don't know. If you're a girl and he's a guy, you got the advantage. Just you got the drop on him. You got the higher ground. If you're both guys, it could be more delicate. Then engineer a social excuse to be together. Then talk. Yes. Halas. Bark at people. Yeah, that's the best way to flirt. You'd be surprised at how. Billy Harrington said, is Poland a based country? Yes, every country in the world is based. Dajun Yar says, this is actually really relevant. Look, I used to think I liked this girl when I really didn't. I had only known this girl for about 5 days, lol. But now we're just normal friends, which feels much better, of course. What you experienced was the phenomenon which I, in my private life, called electricity. So you end up in a situation or a setting where you meet this girl or whatever, and then you're like, suddenly it's sparks flying. You're actually projecting all your fantasies onto this girl, and she's doing the same to you. So it's kind of like a feedback cycle. But then you realize, okay, do I have to? I mean, but I'm glad both of you snapped out at the right place. Let me just say. Hmm. And then sometimes this happens online too. And there it's kind of more insidious because online talk is cheap, looks are easy to engineer. I think you only really realize if you like someone or not after spending physical time together with them. And boom, says Lorelei Sinai, my longtime online friend. Pepular says, for every weird guy, there's an equally weird girl. Yeah. Blake Richardson is back too. Elmo's Mess says, I had a big issue with my partner into our shortly into our relationship. I still want to be with them, but everyone I talked about has thrown up red flags and encouraged me to move on. I don't want to preach so hard about this thing because what are the red flags? What are the situation? I don't know. I mean, I don't. There's all sorts of red flags, and I would not want to be a harsh judge. If you like this person, also always consider the fact that your family and friends might be trying to manipulate you too. It's, I mean, it's just the way I'm wired. Like, I've always decided with my passion and ignored, I don't care much about what people around me say. It's always made me happy. Blake Richardson just tried surreal painting and it's pretty good. Yes, it is. There's this talk about weird people than dating weird people. The weirder, the better. Look, I'll give you a great hint, guys. The girls who you think are weird just like to be loved and appreciated, much like the girls who are not weird. And actually, also like men and like every human being, most human beings. So, like some people are really different because of what they've been through or the way they're brought up. Who that's like weird with a capital W. But then in this day and age, you got the kind of weird person who's like more into niche subjects and like has more arcane knowledge of stuff. And these people are usually like smarter and quirkier, which makes them more interesting. But there's nothing really weird and different with them. She was interested in someone and talked about polyamory. Oh, okay. Look, remember the parable of Destiny, that popular YouTube streamer? And he was in a polyamorous marriage with this weird, obviously extremely dislikable and selfish girl. And lo and behold, their marriage failed. But I'll give you a great hint. And you're dating, you're not even in a marriage. You're dating. Just date around, man. Don't put labels on it. And look, if she gives you the polyamory approach, okay then. All right. Damn girl. Just be I'll be going around too. You'll see how quickly that poly becomes a mono. Mm, mm, mm, mm, mm, mm. Just friend zone this polyamorous person, and then in a few years they'll come crawling back for you. And don't like look, I'll be a bit traditional about this, but like don't even talk I probably wouldn't okay, we'll be friends. Cool. You shouldn't be like inimical either. But like if whether you're a guy or a girl, whatever, if polyamory is brought onto the table, is I would just say you don't need to call it that. I'll just keep dating around, and if you want to settle with me, let me know. Bye. Let's stay friends. Oh, then this person actually wasn't so interested in polyamory. I don't know. I like how old is this person? Let's look at it from another perspective. How old? Because if you're in your early 20s, everybody's polyamorous. Everybody hooks up with everybody, romantically, if not physically. Everybody flirts around. That's natural. It's like a kind of fractal multipolar engagement. And that's just the way it should be. Don't even call them relationships at that age. Just live your life. Yeah, just during college. Okay, yeah. Look, mm, just stay friends, and if things happen, they happen. That's all. Are there gays in Turkey? Says Billy Harrington. Yes. I mean, look, you would be surprised that, especially in a big city like Istanbul or Ankara, how open things are. You would be surprised. Even in traditional settings, there are lots of same sex relationships of the more Alexander the Great mold. They just don't admit it that way. It certainly isn't the kind of like, it's not the kind of country where they throw gay people off buildings, you know? I mean, Ottomans used to write entire guidebooks about the types of gay lovers they could take. So there. Initiating polyamory is like wanting the benefits of a relationship without putting in the work. Exactly. I also think it's a side effect of social media because it's very easy to like make engagements with people, but I mean, there are lots of cars without engines in them. I have a lot of queer friends, says Worldwide Hope. Some of them are open, some of them are in the closet. Oh, describing the situation in Turkey. It is mentally fatiguing. I have another friend who's bisexual. Happily, he lives away. Look, live away from your parents and you discover. Don't be in such a hurry to put labels on things. You are what you are. I mean, I've known people who had like families and then suddenly they realized they were not living in the right gender. They had the gender reassignment surgeries. Then again, I knew like a lesbian woman who actually married and had a kid. She's very happy now. Like these things change, so don't commit to labels. Lorelei Sinai says, "Wow, this has really become a support area for many people. Cauliflower's secret is safe with me. I'll also like, I'll be real about something. When a man is growing up, okay, around ages, let's say 18 to 23, he's sexually active, but he's also displays a lot of feminine characteristics. And this is a normal part of things. It doesn't mean you get these impulses. I used to get them, but you don't need to act on them if you really don't feel safe about it, or vice versa. Caden Slinker is making lots of DNA signs. Let's change some messages. Let's check some messages. Just bear with me.